So, well, you have a quiz on Friday. It's going to include one-step equations and what we do today and tomorrow. Okay? This is going to be important next week because this starts us into multi-step equations. How do we know this is not an equation?
Because there's no equal sign.
Because what?
There's no equal sign.
There's no equal sign. An equal sign is what represents an equation. This, we just need to simplify. We take the number smack dab in front of the parenthesis, and we distribute. And we're going to talk about rules next week for solving equations. But distributing is the first rule. So we distribute if needed. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 multiplied by -2 is -6. I need you to understand that if you can't distribute, you are going to start missing question after question after question next week. You need to know how to distribute. If you don't, please come in and get some help. Okay, number 2. After I've screwed up and you guys were actually very nice about it. You weren't like, hey, Mr. H, that's stupid. You made a mistake, because I did. You just said, I don't know how to do it. Cool. It did say P equals 18 plus X, and I don't even know why there's a P there. But now it doesn't. First step. What do we always do in an equation? Find the... Yeah, but what's it called? The
balance bathroom.
Thank you. The bathroom. We find the bathroom. No. I'm sorry that you're in this class, Kendall, dealing with finding the bathroom. Find the balance point. Thank you, Isaac. From there, we're isolating the x. Okay? I'm telling you, you're going to see this on your quiz, and some of you are going to still miss it after I put stars next to it over and over and over. We always are looking at the side with the x. How do I get the x by itself? What number do I need to move? The 18. How do I move a positive 18 plus x?
You use inverse operation.
Which is what?
Subtraction.
Good. We are going to subtract 18 from both sides. 18 minus 18 is 0. That's really the additive inverse. 18 minus 18 is 0. 0 plus x is x. That's the additive identity. 12 minus 18 is -6. Thumbs up if we got that one. Okay? Here, this is what we did yesterday. Balance point. When I read this, I say x divided by -4. X divided by -4. The inverse of division is? Multiplication. We need to multiply both sides by the -4. That takes care of this, which means we're left over with 1x. 16 times -4 is going to be -4, carry the 2, -64. Questions there? Last one, I'm going to put another star next to, because some of you are going to try to add 12. That's not correct. When I look at this problem, it is divided because it says -12 multiplied by x. Not -12 plus x, not -12 divided by x, not -12 minus x, -12x, which means -12 multiplied by x. We divide both sides by -12. Leaves me with a 1x equals -10. Questions? Go ahead and get out your homework, please. It was the other half of that worksheet. Flip. So once I've seen some work, just showing you the inverse operations. Flip. Cool. Flip. Cool. And it was the evens. Yep.
Oh. Yeah, it was evens.
Number 2, p equals 5. Number 4, n equals 6. Number 6, x equals 20. Number 8, p equals 1. Number 10, n equals -7. Number 12, b equals -4, and 14, n equals 4. Questions on those? Are there any that you'd like to see? Okay, the backside. Number 16, k equals 176. Number 18, x equals 12. Number 20, m equals -52. 22, x equals 13. 24, a equals -90. 26, n equals -2. 28, a equals 9. And 30, m equals -10. Any that you'd like to see, please.
I think it was 2, dang.
That's not bad. Do you understand what you missed?
It was 28 and 30.
So for 28, did you subtract 11 from both sides?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Oh wait, crap. I accidentally added.
Okay. Okay, so notes today are not long, but you are going to want to have out notes. We are in day 3 of equations. We are doing 2-step equations. Okay, so I know that this is going to sound silly. 1-step equations, all we have to do to solve them is one thing. 2 steps, we have to do 2 things. Okay? I am going to show you example after example after example after example after example. There are rules to equations that we're going to talk about next week. But I want to show you the basics first, and then we'll go from there. 3z plus 10 equals 40. This is your most common of 2-step equations. Always, what is our first step?
Find the balance point.
Find the balance point. Always. We are only looking at the side with our variable. When we have our variable, we have something smack dab up against the variable and something a little farther away. 98% of the time, we're going to start by moving something away from that variable with addition or subtraction. We move what's farthest away. We have 3z's plus 10. We're going to start by moving the constant. What's the inverse of a plus 10?
Minus 10.
So we are going to subtract 10 from both sides. 10 minus 10 is 0. 0 plus 3z is 3z. 3z equals 30.
That's it.
No, because z isn't by itself. Kendall, how do we get z by itself? So how would I, does it say 3 plus z? This is 3 multiplied by z. We divide. In these problems, we're usually 95% of the time going to add or subtract first, then multiply or divide. Okay? 95% of the times we're going to add or subtract, then multiply or divide. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 what? 1z. 30 divided by 3 is 10. 1 step, 2 steps. Questions on this one? And if you're like, yeah, I have a lot of questions, cool, let's keep going and see another example. Five plus 4x equals nope, that's not going to work. That will work. 5 plus 4x equals negative 19. First step. What do we do?
Balance point.
Find the balance point. Always, always, always. Okay. The goal is to get the x by itself. So we're only worried about the side that the x is on. What's farthest away from that x?
5.
So we need to move that first. How do we move that positive 5?
Subtracted by 5.
Yeah, subtract 5 from both sides. 5 minus 5 is 0, which means all of this comes down. Do I need to put plus 4x? No, because it's a positive 4. Equals, in your calculator, do negative 19 minus 5. You do exactly what it says. Negative 19 minus 5. What's that give me?
Negative 24.
Very good. So now I have 4x equals negative 24. What do I do with that 4x?
You divided it by
Yeah, we divide by what?
4.
On both sides. 4 divided by 4 is 1. That's the multiplicative inverse. If you say, hey, Miss Rachel, just cancels. As long as you don't say that out loud, you know that it's just x. I'm good with that. Negative 24 divided by 4.
Negative 6.
Negative 6. Has this been hard yet?
No. Let's keep it. That's so much so.
Negative 8x minus 8 equals 16. First step, what? Always. What's the first step? Always.
Balance point.
Always, always, always the balance point. Trying to get this x by itself. This negative 8's attached to it, because that says negative 8x. We're moving the thing that's not attached to it first. So what do we have to do?
Add
Add what?
8.
This 8? This 8.
The one in the middle.
This one? This one.
Like where it says negative 8.
This is a negative 8, this is a negative 8. Which one?
The one with the x line.
Ah, no, because this is negative 8 times x. These are together. We always move the constant that has no x with it. Okay, we're always moving the constant first. So we add the constant to both sides. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. All of this comes down. Negative 8x equals 24. Now, what does negative 8x mean? Negative 8 times x. So Kendall, what's the inverse of multiplication? So what am I going to divide by? By what? By negative 8, you have to include the sign. Negative divided by a negative is positive. 8 divided by 8 is 1. That leaves me 1x equals
Negative 3.
-3. Okay? Now, so far, all we have done is add or subtract, then divide. Well, Mr. H, you haven't shown us any division problems. Correct. I haven't yet. So, here's example 4. X divided by 6 minus 2 equals 4. Step number 1. Always, 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 what do we do? Balance point. Okay, then what? What do you think we're going to do next?
Multiply by.
We're going to add or subtract first.
Oh.
Because this is 1/6 of an x. So that's together. So we need to get rid of that -2. How do we get rid of that -2? By adding 2 to both sides. -2 plus 2 is 0. All of this comes down. Equals 6. Now, what do I do, Alec?
Then you bring it, or, so you do 6 multiplied by.
Yeah, so we multiply both sides by this 6. Those go away. Leaves me x equals 36. Let's do a couple more.
I like this.
Good. I'm glad. Even if you didn't like it, guess what? Don't care. 'Cause that's what we're doing today. Here we go, example 5. And if you have all of these, listen, all of these examples are going to help you on your homework. That's why we're writing them down, that way you can go back and forth to it. Let's go. 7 minus x divided by 3 equals 8. Kindle, first step, always. The balance point. Okay. What are we trying to move? What's farthest away from that x?
7.
Okay, how do we move that 7?
Add.
Okay, so if I add 7 to both sides, don't write this down. If I add 7 to both sides, what's 7 plus 7?
Oh wait.
No, what's 7 plus 7?
14.
Minus x divided by 3 equals 15. Does that help me at all? No. So, knowing that, you're right that we have to move the 7, but what do we do in order to start to isolate that x? Say it.
Subtract.
Yeah. We're going to subtract the 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. That's the additive inverse. Now, this is where we're going to get confused. Notice what I put in the box. Yeah, we have to include that sign. It comes down.
Oh.
Nay.
Oh, I thought it was 7 minus, not negative. So
But
I
it is
had-
7 minus. But that minus turns into a negative when it's by itself. So now I have a negative x divided by 3. How do I get rid of division?
Multiplication.
What am I to multiply by, Liam?
3. Negative 3.
By negative 3. I have to multiply by the number and the sign, because negative times negative is positive. Positive what? Positive x equals 1 times a negative 3 is negative 3. Okay. Let's do another one.
So
Go ahead.
when is it we'll have to subtract it by, because it's positive and then minus. Okay, actually I see.
Okay.
It's just the negative threw me off.
You're all right. Okay, first step. Always, what is it? Balance point. Great job. It is the balance point. Always, 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 it's the balance point. Okay, then what?
Add 8.
Very good. Add 8 to both sides to get rid of the constant. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. Negative x divided by 4 comes down, equals 10. Okay. Is it negative x or is it negative 4?
Negative 4.
Yeah. So we can even move this down like that. So now how do we isolate that x? This is x divided by negative 4. What's the inverse of division, Kindle? What's the inverse of division? Multiplication. What are we going to multiply by? By what? By negative 4 to both sides. Negative 4 times, okay. That leaves me with my x equals negative 40. What questions do we have? Anybody's? Okay. So, you are absolutely not doing all of these. We're going to circle questions, and I'm going to write them down on the board. So, your homework. Is numbers 1 through 5. 9 through 11. 15, oh no, not 15, 13 through 16, and 20 and 21. You're going to want to copy that down. Oh, bless you. So numbers, all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, and 21. You have 15 minutes to get started. I will help you. I will work with you. But go ahead and get started now.